Welcome to another deep dive, and this time we're really tackling a big one, the future of learning itself. With all the buzz about AI, we had to dig into Salman Khan's new book, Brave New Words. Seems like you're fascinated by how this tech might shake up classrooms, huh?
Absolutely. And Khan doesn't just skim the surface. He goes deep on everything from AI tutors that are like personalized Socrates to whether knowing stuff even matters the same way it used to.
Right. That part where Khan almost went full AI researcher, then did the hedge fund thing before Khan Academy.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder if he was prepping for this all along.
It definitely adds another layer to how he sees AI now. He's not just some tech optimist. He's got the experience to back it up. Even wanted to build a real-life Hari Seldon foundation from Asimov's books.
Talk about taking the long view, huh? But that story about his daughter Dia using GPT-4 for writing, that's where it clicked for me. They were bouncing ideas back and forth, not just AI churning out words.
And that's Khan's big point. AI tutors could be so much more than glorified answer keys. He uses this term, the 2 sigma problem, basically. One-on-one learning's amazing, but impossible to do for everyone with just humans. AI could change that.
So every student with a tutor who gets them, pushes them in the way they learn best. It's exciting, but man, is it a little unnerving too. And then there's the whole elephant in the room, cheating. Schools are going crazy banning ChatGPT.
Which is where Khan throws a bit of a curveball. Instead of banning it, he's all about teaching kids to use AI responsibly. Like this professor, Darren Hick, he caught a student using AI and turned it into a whole lesson on ethical AI use.
No way, seriously, what happened?
Turns out the AI paper was full of stuff that sounded super smart, but was just plain wrong. Happens a lot with those language models. But Hick used it as a chance to talk about AI's limits and how to think critically about the info it spits out.
Genius. It's not that the tech itself is good or bad, it's the choices we make with it. Kind of like calculators didn't kill math class, but they changed what skills mattered most.
Exactly. And Khan talks about another professor, Ethan Malik, who actually wants students to use AI, but the focus is on pushing their creativity, not just letting the machine do it all. Is this good writing? Not just, is this cheating?
Okay, I'm following that. But what happens when AI can write a novel, compose a symphony, even make art? Does that mean human creativity is done for?
Khan actually goes way back for this one. Francis Ford Coppola in the 1970s, using early language AI, had this device that turned novels into rough drafts for screenplays, called it a zippy script.
Hold up, Coppola, then. That's amazing. How'd that go over?
Writers Guild was not thrilled, to say the least. Caused a huge stir.
Talk about foreshadowing the debates we're having now.
Right, and Khan's point is, just like Coppola eventually came around to new tech, we should see AI as a partner, not competition. Like brainstorming with someone who's always tossing out wild ideas, it can spark stuff at us we wouldn't find on our own.
So not replacing our creativity, but expanding it.
Exactly. AI can copy style, but it's never lived a life, felt those deep emotions, had those weird quirks that make our art human.
That's kind of reassuring when you put it that way. I've seen the AI stuff, it's impressive, but there's something missing. That spark,
Yeah.
The real deal comes from lived experience.
Exactly. And Khan's careful to point that out. AI is incredibly powerful, no doubt, but it's still limited by the data we feed it.
So not about being scared of it or blindly trusting it either. It's about understanding what it can and can't do.
Exactly. And that leads us to the next big question, because if we're talking about AI personalizing learning, how do we make sure it's doing that fairly?
You're talking about the potential for bias in AI.
Exactly. And Khan doesn't shy away from it. He argues that we have to be really careful about the data that we use to train these systems.
So that AI tutors aren't perpetuating the same inequalities that already exist in education.
Right. And this is where things get really interesting. So we were talking about bias in AI, and this is where Khan's vision gets, well, really ambitious. He doesn't want personalized learning just for some, but for everyone, which is huge, obviously.
Definitely. But how does AI bridge that gap, especially for students who can't afford tutors, or maybe their schools are stretched thin already?
This is where he gets really fired up. He says AI tutors can actually level the playing field, give that one-on-one support, even in crowded classrooms, or for kids learning remotely.
So a student in a rural area, same quality AI tutor as someone in a fancy suburb, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And even the cost barrier, he thinks, as the tech gets better, it'll get cheaper. Maybe a tiny fraction of what tutoring costs now.
Which is huge, because right now personalized learning is like this luxury, not something everyone can access. But you know what else struck me in these excerpts? The stuff about AI and mental health. It's like, We're just starting to grasp what tech's doing to our well-being, especially for young people.
Totally. And Khan sees both the promise and the need to tread carefully. Like, he talks about those early chatbots, Eliza, super basic, but some people found them strangely comforting.
It's weird, right? Even back then, people wanted that connection, even from a computer program.
Totally. Now imagine AI that gets how you talk, picks up on your emotions, even tailors its responses to your personality. Khan mentions this psychologist, Angela Duckworth. She's looking at how AI could give personalized mental health help, even encourage a growth mindset.
So not just reacting to crises, but maybe even preventing them.
That's the hope. But obviously, huge ethical questions there. Privacy, data security, the possibility of misuse. We can't just jump in blindly.
Definitely not. And speaking of big questions, what about the one everyone's asking? AI and jobs. Are robots going to replace teachers?
It's a valid concern, and Khan doesn't dodge it. He says, yes, some tasks, even whole job categories, will get automated. He even compares it to COVID, how it forced us to rethink work and school.
Like we're in another one of those moments, just with AI as the disruptor this time.
Exactly. And he says, instead of freaking out, what if it's a chance to rethink what work even is? He thinks AI will create jobs that we can't even imagine yet.
Okay, so not just jobs lost, but jobs transformed. But how do we prepare students for jobs that don't exist yet?
This is where his vision for education gets really interesting. He says the skills that'll matter most are the ones AI can't replicate: creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, how to communicate and collaborate.
So not trying to outsmart AI, but be better at being human.
Right. He's all about fostering those skills, making kids adaptable, resilient, lifelong learners. And guess what? He sees AI helping with that too, through super personalized learning that helps you find your strengths.
Makes sense. Instead of trying to beat the machines, focus on what makes us different. The empathy, the big picture thinking, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And that leads into another area where Khan sees AI changing the game: assessments. He says those standardized tests we've relied on forever, totally inadequate for measuring what matters in the 21st century.
Yeah, those tests get a lot of flack for being too narrow, not really reflecting real-world skills, and potentially unfair to some students.
Exactly. He's picturing AI assessments that are more adaptable, personalized, even engaging. Tests that adjust to how you're doing, give you feedback in real time, show you where you need help.
So not just a score at the end, but guidance along the way.
Right. And not just multiple choice either. These AI assessments could evaluate your writing, your critical thinking, problem solving, even creativity in ways we can't even do now.
Wow, so AI could help us measure the things that really matter, the skills you need to make it in a world that's changing faster than ever.
Exactly. Which leads to another mind-blowing possibility: AI-powered college admissions. Imagine, AI looks at way more than just grades and test scores. It gives a much more complete picture of you as an applicant.
So colleges could use AI to find students who are a good fit, based on their unique strengths, experiences, potential.
That's the idea. Khan believes it could make admissions fairer, less biased, and open doors for more people. But again, gotta be careful here. We have to build and use these AI systems responsibly.
It's like this constant theme. AI has crazy potential, but the ethical side is huge. We can't just throw tech at the problem and hope for the best.
Totally. And that leads us to maybe the most thought-provoking part of Khan's book, where he gets into how AI might change how we understand knowledge itself.
Oh wow, we're getting philosophical now. I'm ready, let's do it. So AI changing not just how we learn, but what it means to actually know something. That's getting deep pretty fast.
Right. And Khan ties it back to his own school days, which I love. He talks about how memorizing facts just felt off. Like, where's the joy of figuring things out yourself? Those aha moments.
Totally. That's how we learn in the real world, not just from textbooks. You
No.
see something new, it connects to what you already know.
Exactly. And Khan says AI could help bridge that gap, make learning feel more like that natural curiosity we all have.
So not just giving us more info, but helping us make it meaningful, make it ours.
Yes. One mind-blowing thing he says is AI challenges how we even define knowledge. For centuries, it's been this thing experts give us, right? A set of facts to be absorbed.
Like those old pictures, scholars in libraries, piles of dusty books. Knowledge was precious. Access was limited.
Exactly. AI flips that on its head. Now it's more like fluid, accessible, personalized. Imagine tapping into the knowledge of all the experts, but it's tailored to you.
A custom library, always up to date. just for you. That's kind of wild.
Right. He calls it liquid knowledge, not stuck in books anymore, but constantly changing, adapting with new info.
So it's less about what you know, more about how you know it and how you use it in a world that's changing crazy fast.
Exactly. And Khan says AI can actually help us develop those skills, the mental agility, the critical thinking, because just memorizing facts, not going to cut it.
It's like in a sea of liquid knowledge, the skill is knowing how to swim, how to navigate and come out with a deeper understanding of it all.
Beautifully put. And that circles back to Khan's idea of educated bravery. AI gives us the tools to ask bolder questions, challenge assumptions, really embrace the unknown.
Like it gives us permission to be more intellectually adventurous,
Yeah.
Chart our own course through all this information.
Exactly. But, and this is crucial, we have to be smart about it. It's not enough to ask what AI can do, but what it should. What are the ethics, the safeguards to make sure it's used for good?
It's a powerful tool. We need to wield it responsibly for the benefit of everyone.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about Khan's book. It's a call to action for teachers, parents, everyone really, to approach AI with that educated bravery. Excited about its potential, but clear-eyed about the complexities.
This deep dive has been amazing. We've gone way beyond just AI in school, haven't we? This is about how we learn, what it means to know stuff, even what it means to be human in this crazy century.
I agree. It's not some sci-fi future. AI is here now. It's already shaping our world. The question is, what role are we going to play in shaping it, making sure it leads to a better future for everyone?
That's something worth thinking about. And if you're as intrigued by all this as we are, definitely check out Salman Khan's Brave New Words. It's one of those books that'll stay with you long after you finish it.
Maybe even inspire you to find your own educated bravery and help shape the future of learning in this amazing AI-powered world.